Welcome to this tour of Ephesus, Izmir, Turkey. In the 1st and 2nd century BC, Ephesus was a very important city in the Roman Empire with a population between 100 and 200,000 people. With an excellent harbor, it had a good road to Susa, the capital of the Persian Empire. It became the center of many cultural and literary works. Ephesus' location is clearly apparent on the east coast of the Mediterranean. In 1975, I took an overland tour with Exodus expeditions from London to Kathmandu and then on around India. During that trip, we spent a night in Ephesus. We traveled along the coast of the Mediterranean through Turkey and quite enjoyed camping on beaches and roasting goats on the beach that we purchased at the markets. It was a marvelous time, and we encountered many old ruins that were untouched by tourists, such as ancient Roman or even Greek amphitheaters. This map showing Roman times clearly shows the location of Ephesus. Under Roman rule, Ephesus was an extremely large and prosperous city. There were marble monuments everywhere, and virtually the entire city was constructed out of marble blocks. By the 4th century BC, the harbor began to silt in, and it was dredged by the Romans several times to keep it operational. By the 7th century AD, the city was under attack by the Arabs and was conquered by the Turks during the 13th century and virtually taken over with Turkish baths and caravanserai and the normal Turkish constructions. This is perhaps the best map showing the layout of Ephesus today. Of note is, of course, the main theater, which will feature highly in photographs, and the Odeon, which is a tiny little Greek theater that seats about 1,500 people. This is an early map showing the structure during Roman times. It's an enormously complicated city, and during a quick visit, it's hard to take in the 20 or 30 sites that are outlined when only a few scattered blocks remain. This is the actual map posted on a large billboard, and you can see the extensive list of buildings. The Mediterranean's extended out about 5 kilometers from Ephesus today. The ancient harbor has long since been filled in. The modern harbor is still a major stopover for cruise ships, and I've had my sister from Ontario, Canada, and a friend from Perth stop off on cruises around the Mediterranean to visit this ancient city. A Google map, you can see the tiny airstrip near Ephesus, and the actual ruins itself is just on the east end and slightly to the south. It's about 5 kilometers to the ocean. This is about as close as you can get with a Google map, but it clearly shows the theater. A view from the theater looking towards the ocean. The Mediterranean port Kudadasi, and of course the international airport at Izmir makes the city very easily accessible. There's quite a few books on Ephesus, and I'll show you the covers of a couple. There's also a number of quite good websites in English about this city. I'll begin with the modern Turkish town of Selcuk, which is quite close to Ephesus. It's got a number of very interesting things to see, not only a 14th century mosque, but the remains of the huge Artemis temple, a large fortress on the hill, church dedicated to St. John the Apostle, an aqueduct. The town of Selcuk is about 18 kilometers from Kudadasi, the ocean port, and 3 kilometers from Ephesus. Here's an excellent website about Selcuk itself. The town is quite small and can be easily walked. Most of the sites are within walking distance. Here's the city map. Little remains of the temple of Artemis today, one solitary pillar. At one time it was the largest building in the ancient world and was classified as one of the 7 wonders of the world. A drawing of what the ancient temple looked like. Artemis is the Greek god, the daughter of Zeus and Leto, and was worshipped by many people over a long period of time. The temple was excavated by a British archaeologist in the mid-1800s, and most of the artwork and many marble statues were taken to the British Museum, where they still remain. A picture of the temple on an ancient Greek coin, and a picture of the goddess Artemis, who was seen as a cult figure for fertility. This figure at the Vatican Museum represents Artemis as a cult figure, a goddess of fertility. She possessed many breasts, although it's now believed that they were actually bull's testes. A quick search of Google will show a lot of information on Artemis. Ephesus was famous for many things. It had a very large public library and a theater capable of holding 25,000 people. It was the largest city in Asia and had an advanced aqueduct system. Some of the aqueduct remains can be seen in Selcuk. The city is famous for being the last home of Mary, Mother of Jesus. There seems to be a lot of literature supporting this claim, although a few claims dispute it. certainly you can go and see the remains of the home. It's certainly not disputed that the disciple John eventually settled in Ephesus and was charged with caring for Mary, and it's believed that he took Mary with him and settled her there. And this is the house. An interior photograph inside the home. A marble plaque erected to tell the story, stating that St. John came to Ephesus between 37 and 48 AD, where they spent the remaining part of their lives and died there. St. John's Basilica was later erected to celebrate the place where St. John lived. And here's a drawing of what it looked like. This is all that remains of St. John's Basilica today, a few pillars and marble blocks. There's a very fine museum set up to look after the ruins from Ephesus. Amongst some of these ruins are these restored mosaics of ancient Roman houses. The museum looks after a huge number of artifacts. One section is busts of various Roman emperors. Although the castle was built in Byzantine times, most of the remains are Ottoman, and legend has it that St. John wrote one of his Gospels in one of the towers. Three different eras, Greek and Roman times. In the foreground, the Artemis Temple. In the middle is the Seljuk Turks mosque called Izmir. In the background, the Ottoman times, is the castle. Remains of a Turkish bath. It was quite a good locomotive museum. Now leaving Selcuk, we'll go to the ancient city of Ephesus. This is an early 20th century photograph. Turkish soldiers in Ephesus in 1919. Quite a bit of the site's been reconstructed since those days. There are a number of good panoramic tours on the net. Just to illustrate, we'll provide a view from the theater looking 360 degrees. A map showing the smaller theatre, which sits about 1,500 people, called the Odeon. Here's a picture of it here. The amazing thing about these theatres is the good acoustics. You can stand in the center and be heard right at the back without having to shout. This is the main theatre. Sits about 25,000 people. This is the Library of Celsus, built in 125 before Christ. It was said to contain 12,000 scrolls. They have an underground tunnel to a nearby brothel or drinking establishment. There are many ruins of Ephesus, and it's very difficult to categorize and label all of them. Part of a Roman bath, or perhaps it's a toilet. A Roman sundial. Now we'll look at the fountain east of Domitian Square at the edge of the Agora. It had a small pool and a large arch supporting a triangular capital. The remains of the Domitian Temple. The Bath of Varius. The Memmius Monument. Detail from the wall of Hadrian's temple. The arch on Hadrian's temple. Detail from Hadrian's temple. Nike from Hercules Gate. Thanks for joining me, dear viewer, on this tour to Ephesus, Izmir province in Turkey. I do hope you have a good day.